Thank you guys for having us today. I brought today Andrew, our pre-construction director. So we got the big dog with us today,
Ah,
kind of helping us out. My
don't be scared.
coworker.
No
Um, I'm
bad.
gonna, go ahead, Andrew.
No bad questions. Don't be scared. I'm not the big dog. Just here to help.
He
Thanks for
is
having
here
us.
to help. I am sharing my screen right now. Today, we will be going over proposals, as he said. I'm going to do a slight um our agenda today. I will go over a little bit of the qualification steps because that's kind of leading into the proposals. I won't go into the meat and potatoes of that because on 11/18 we did that Mentor Monday session with Lauren, and she really went into depth with our qualification. And so if you want to take a look at that, that was recorded as well. And so that is going to be a great benefit for you in the qualification stage. We will touch a little bit on Building Connected, but we are going to really get into the meat and potatoes of proposals and our bid documents. All right. All right. So as you guys know, there is two ways that you can work with Samet. You can become a supplier, and we have that is a little bit different than being a trade partner. There's not as much documentations that you will have to submit to us. So this is the steps: sending our W-9, contact person for your accountant, your CIO, excuse me, your COI, and that should be emailed to either me or that Samet at trustlayer.io. That is at the bottom of this slide right here. So that's pretty simple, becoming a supplier. Won't touch too further on that. But our next step is going to be a pre-qualification. If you have if any questions with that, you can reach out to me or call me or email me. We also have a qualification manager at our home office that will help us out as well. So you will either hear from either me or her. That link above the samet.com/prequal_renew. That is where you can click on there and it will provide you all the information that you need to get pre-qual with us. As you know, there's a prequal A and a prequal B, which the B is project specific. We will be talking about a couple of projects that we have coming up. And so some of those will need project specific pre-qualifications on those. Hope I'm not going too fast for you. So let's get into maintaining your Building Connected. If you are not on Building Connected, I highly, highly recommend you get on Building Connected. Building Connected to the construction company, I guess it's like Facebook of construction, okay? You're gonna set up your profile. You can submit your pre-qualification in here, your bid opportunities, and we are going to be communicating through Building Connected about the specifics of each project. And so a lot of times this is where you are going to send your proposals, unless it's a private job and you would just be emailing your proposals to us. So please get on Building Connected. They also have help opportunities to help you out with Building Connected as well. Lauren did a great job last mentoring Monday, going through building connected. Excuse me, Building Connected, and that will definitely help you as well. Now we're gonna get into the proposals itself. So I'm gonna stop and ask to do a poll really fast before we start getting into the proposal part of it. I kind of want to know who I'm talking with. Okay, so we're going to set up a poll right now, and it is going to ask you how many proposals have you done so far? Have you done one, 2 through 5, 5 through 10, or you are expert at this? If you would go ahead and submit your vote so we will know who we are working with today. Okay, so we have some 2 to 5s, we have some 5 to 10s in the chat. Oh, we got a 20 plus. Okay, Roper, I see you. 2 to 5. Okay, okay. So we have maybe one or two newbies in here, and then we have some, I'm gonna say, mid-level people, and then very expert people. So they may can give us advice as well on that. Perfect. All right, let me reshare. Thank you for participating in the poll today. We just want to know who we are talking with today. All right, let's go back. So, company letterheads. We really want you to keep it simple. We do not need your logo to take up half of the paper. So we just need your simple logo. You're choosing the right typography. Some people made their fonts a little bit too small where we can't see. Some people are making them too big where they're taking up too much of the paper and you're being a little bit too creative. Now, guys, I love creativity as I'm an artist, but this is just not the time for all of that, right? We want to ensure that we can read where it's coming from, okay? Avoid over complex design, say no to clutter, and let's not sacrifice the legibility on that, okay? Um, if you are branding, if you have a marketing person, you want to stay consistent with your branding. So that definitely helps. If your logo is red, continue to keep it red, right? So we'll know who you are. So those are a couple of do's and don'ts of the letterhead on your proposal. So maybe shrink it a little bit if yours is taking up too much of your paper. The next thing we see is we want to be professional with our proposals. Sometimes we see people trying to email proposals in the email thread. Sometimes people send it in a Word document. I highly recommend you not do that. People can change your numbers, change anything they need to in those documents. And so we are asking for you to use a PDF version of that. That is going to safeguard you and in your business, actually. Sometimes proposals need to be resubmitted, and so we're asking you to have dates on that, or we suggest use the rev markings. So if you send it the first time, you would do R0. If you need to send another proposal with the same proposal, you will write R1. So we won't get confused where you're at in your submissions if you had to resubmit a proposal. Okay. Best practice is everything in important, please put it in a PDF, like I was saying. Direct contact information on your proposal as well. A lot of times we will possibly get a proposal, but we don't have a contact person to call back if we have specific questions. I will also say that if that person is in the field, you may, want them to be aware of the timings that you're sending out proposals so they can still answer the phones, because we may have a quick question that needs to be answered within a day's time. And we don't want to, neglect your bid or your proposal because we can't get in contact with you. So please make sure that the name and the email and the direct number that you are putting on your proposal is correct. Okay.
Shantae, are you able to put your screen in presentation mode?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I think I am. Hold on one second. From current slide. Thank you. All right. So proposals and price breakdown. I think Andrew was going to help me out with this slide a little bit. But following the bid instructions, breakdowns can also help us give better feedback. So we will know where you are high or low at. Also, some of our proposals or our bid opportunities may come in a combo pack. And so if you're bidding on several packages and you're giving us a deal or something like that because we are combining different scopes and you're bidding on multiple scopes on one project, you got to let us know what you are doing. Okay. And so the breakdown really will help us out of knowing where you are at in that. Your total, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Shantae. Go ahead. No, I'll jump in at the end of this slide.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Your total value listed, it should be listed and titled total value, so we'll know that's exactly what you are meaning for that. Inclusion and exclusions, both of those are important. It will make inclusions will clarify successes. Exclusions will know what you are doing with your highs and lows numbers. So that just helps out smooth the project with that. Andrew, you have any other feedback with this?
Yeah, sometimes seeing an actual example helps. So
Okay.
what I didn't want to do is call anybody out on the carpet, so to speak, right? And maybe bring up somebody's proposal that we've run into some challenges with, but at the same time, maybe get the point across here. So do you mind if I share my screen just for a second,
Yeah.
Shantae?
Yep, let's stop sharing.
All right, we'll play a fun little simple game. All right, there we go. So just in the time we're on this meeting, I typed up a little exercise here to help illustrate what Shantae is talking about. So I wrote here, if you can't see it, I'll read it to you. Which proposal has a better chance of winning some new work? So I'm going to go down and then we'll take a volunteer. Maybe we'll give a little prize at the end, but it should be pretty apparent. So this is a little bit rhetorical and a little bit kind of funny, tongue in cheek, but bear with me. So if I scroll down, here's often what we get. Breakdown example one. So AAA flooring company proposal. Okay, good. At least I know as pre-construction manager here at Samet that this is probably going to be a flooring proposal. Project, new apartment project. Inclusions, flooring and tile. Exclusions, anything not stated above. Price, 102,000. So maybe before I go to example two, does anyone want to jump in and say some challenges that Samet might have in reviewing this proposal? Anybody brave souls? There's no wrong answers. What's missing from here, or what could be more clear if you want to win work?
There's no specific job address.
Job address. I heard job address. Exactly. Where is this apartment? What is this? What is this building? Right. We get this all the time, by the way. Apartment project. So yes, what is the title of the project? Where is it at? What's the address? Somebody else, go ahead. Contact information. Exactly right. That's a big one. I want to say, just for, we look at, oh my goodness, hundreds of proposals each month, thousands each year. I would say it's somewhere around 20% of proposals, maybe even 25% come without a contact information on them. How sad is that? You know? I have to go back and figure out, like I have to spend more time, right? And I'll do it because I want to work with you all as partners. But think about it. You should be making it easy. I try to make it easy on my clients up the chain, right? So you gotta help me make it easy on me with not just your name, but what's your email, what's your cell phone number, or what's the best number I can call you at. Some of the stuff that Shantae has already talked about. So good. Contact information. What else? Let me see in the chat. A
There's
couple
no
we had.
details.
No details. Exactly right. Like, has this company reviewed the project? Am I going to take the risk of signing them up as a partner and putting them with our operational teams, our PXs and our PMs, to work with our clients to make sure that this is a successfully delivered project? I don't think so. So even if this is a great company and they do have somehow the right scope and it is the best price, this type of proposal, which we see all the time, one pagers or less than one pagers on Word document format, there's just too many red flags. And so these sessions are great that you're all at because you can hear it from us directly that there's a lot of red flags here and lacking information. How many days is the proposal good for from Lisa? Fantastic. Yes, exactly. Validity. We call that validity dates. That's exactly right. What did we all go through with the pandemic? Prices were going up in some of your trades. You could probably tell me almost on a weekly basis. I was getting proposals in 2020 and through 2021 that were good for 1 week, 10 days, sometimes if we're lucky. When generally, when times are good, we're asking our teams to hold for 90 days, so that we can get it to the contract, to the client. They have their time to review. They come back to us with approval. We're then able to subcontract with you. Then you're able to go to that vendor and actually purchase that material at the stated price. There's a lot of steps there that have to happen that really it's an impossibility to happen in a week. We know that you're just covering yourself, which is what we want you to do. So even if it is a impossible date, you've got to say what that validity date is. Electrical was 1 week during COVID from David Goodson. Yeah, exactly right. It was a challenge, but it's got to be stated here. Yeah, we'll email the PowerPoint out. If they're an MBE, that's great. If you have a minority owned, if you have any certification of any type, that's valid, right? We don't want you to lie, right? If you need to get your updated validity on that, then you need to work on that. But that's something that I would put right. I'd be proud of, and I would have that right in my, in my seal or in my company logo almost, or right next to my company logo. Like, hey, we're proud of this. We're hub certified, or women owned or minority owned, whatever that is. That's you helping us and us helping the community with better numbers and better diversity in our projects. So we're big on that, and you got to call that out because it'll help be a differentiator for you. Validity, contact information, small business and MBE. Great job, everyone. Yeah, so I think we hit everyone. Anyone else want to throw one in there before we go down? And by the way, example number 2 is not perfect because I just typed it up in a couple minutes, but bear with me. So this kind of helps. It didn't take me much more time. I typed both of these up in the 10 minutes that Shantae was, going through the initial stuff with y'all. But look at the difference here. The project is the same company name. I don't have their seal or their company logo. I would put that on here, whether they were an MBE. That was great input. I didn't do that here, so I could have done better. Proposal date when I'm turning it in. Something I would add is a rev date, right? So you might say Rev 0, right? Because a lot of times we know, we're gonna bleed all over this as Samet or whoever you're working with as your CM. We're gonna say, hey, you had 5,200 square feet of resilient. I'm seeing like 10,000 square feet. There's something wrong. Like we don't need to tell each other exactly the numbers, right? You see how I've rounded everything kind of the nearest 500 square feet of quantity, but we need that information. If you don't put it on your initial proposal, we're going to ask you anyways. And it's not for us to get into your shorts as far as exact quantities. It's to make sure that your scales are set right when you're doing your quantity takeoffs. It's to make sure that we're helping you stay in business and you're helping us stay in business, right? So we're both doing quantity takeoffs, and we are doing quantity takeoffs, just for awareness, on every one of our projects that goes to contract. So we're going to know how many cubic yards of dirt we're moving. We're going to know how many yards of concrete we're putting in to replace it in the ground, all the way through the finished trades that we have an example of right here. How many square feet, how many tiles of carpet we're going to have, how many square feet of sheet products we're going to have, how much paint we're going to be putting on the walls. I mean, we really do have all of those quantities. And so you see that here, instead of inclusions up here, floor and tile. Okay, well, I want to make sure that my partners that we go to work with know the scope as well as I know the scope. And partner one up there might know it, but you got to show through what we were trying to impress upon our partners is show us that you reviewed the documents. Show us that you read the specification and you know what product you're supposed to be using. And you're not creating a substitution issue where we're going to have design challenges. Here, as an example of that, instead of exclusions, in example one, which was anything not stated above, I consider that a generic qualification. I really don't like to see generic qualifications. I get it. There are some cover your butt qualifications. That's okay. But at least start your exclusions section and your inclusion section as well with the stuff that shows us that you reviewed the documents and you didn't just throw a flyer number at us that we have to really then call you and say, what's the deal here? Did you look at the job or not? So again, here, submitted by exactly contact information, made up person, the estimator, what their role is, right? I'd like to know what their role is so I know what level of the company they're at and, who I need to get in contact. Can this person sign a contract, right? I would be asking them, okay, you did a great job, Mark, at breaking down this proposal, but who from your company is going to be able to sign our subcontract? So I understand that as well. As I said earlier, you're going to want your email. Everything, we handle a lot of business through emails these days, and everything needs to be in writing. And then whether it's your cell phone or a direct phone number at your office, don't give us your phone number of an administrator at the front, right? Time is everything here. There's so many projects, especially there's going to be a lot of projects coming back around in early 2025. Developers are calling us quite a bit right now for new work. So the quicker that we can get in contact with each other directly, the better it is for both of our days as far as efficiency and getting things done. So, just simply providing your email and your direct phone number is huge, as well as your name, so I can speak to you. Quantities, again, I put here, you can put that on your proposals too. If you think that a CM is trying to just use your quantities for some reason to bid shop, we've heard about that from other clients. All we can tell you is that Samet does not do that. I put the highest emphasis on integrity of myself and our team here. So we are not going to be bid shopping anybody. We want the best party with the best number and the best quality and the best safety to get the job and go to work with us. So what we're asking for, and you can put disclaimers like this on yours as well. If we ask you for quantities, I always say, I'm not looking to get down to the nearest square foot or the exact square foot. I'm trying to make sure you reviewed the drawings and we're looking at the same job. So you can round it to the nearest 100 square feet if we're in quantities like this. Whatever you got to do, put disclaimers that it's for accounting purposes only or informational purposes only. You're not billing by quantity. We get it. We get the risks that this has for you, but we need to understand that you have the right number for the right scope for the job. So again, flooring and tile becomes resilient flooring, luxury vinyl tile, carpet tile, resilient base that goes with those two products. Then we have the tile section, floor tile, wall tile, tile base. This shows me that somebody has reviewed the drawings. I would even like to see, a section that says documents, something like this, CDs dated, 11/1/2024 by, ADW Architects or whoever the architect is, right? That helps me understand reading this proposal. Again, it's still not very long, but it really shows me compared to example one, exactly that this person, this company, AAA Flooring, knows the project. They know how much the quantities are, and this price that they put at the bottom is correct for the scope. Exclusions. Here's a similar one that shows me they reviewed the spec. Attic stock is not called out in spec 965, which is the resilient flooring most likely, so none is included. So you give me the why you're doing an exclusion, and then you're giving me the actual exclusion, right? As opposed to the exclusion above, which is anything I didn't say above is not included. Get into project specific proposals and you will win a lot more work because you will start to develop better relationships with us. We will have better trust in you, and you will not have any losses either, right? You'll know the material up front. You'll know how much waste factor you need. You'll know how many hours you need. You'll really be, putting your best foot forward to put together a specific proposal, as opposed to what we see some folks doing, which is, hey, I got to wing it. I've got to put a lot of proposals out there and I got to hope they work out. We are very much against the hope and pray method when it comes to materials. There's a lot of good things that we can pray for in the world, but I would not be praying for work or for success in a proposal that comes down to financials and construction scope. So I wouldn't put this on your proposals, but this is just kind of a message, right? To no generic qualifications. Show us you reviewed the scope. Show us you reviewed the drawings, the specs, and that'll help drive confidence in your proposal that you're turning into us. And we'll have better conversations and more efficient conversations as well because of it. Go ahead, Shante.
All right. Let me reshare my slides.
Yeah,
Sorry.
David said duration and company address. Duration's a good one as well. David Goodson, nice job. Yeah, you could put things about man and woman power, right? You could talk about how many what crew size. That kind of aligns with what I say down here, right? When are we expecting to work? Set the expectations with us. Hey, you haven't told us, Samet, that there's going to be Sunday work or Saturday work or nighttime work, so we're assuming normal hours, Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday. Sometimes make up rain days. Sorry, I saw a good comment from David. Thanks, David.
Cool. All right, I'm going to share my current slide. So we have a cheat sheet right here where there's a lot of proposal applications that you can use. We here use Adobe InDesign, but there's a lot more that you can use. Microsoft Publisher, Canva, WebMerge, Proby. So any of these are really good proposal. Some of them are free. Canva is a free one. There is some that you can purchase and if you wanted to. So any of these are some good reference pages for your proposal applications. Just wanted to share that.
Can you put that in presentation mode, please?
I am so sorry. Yes.
It's just hard to read. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. There we go. All right. And we will be sending this the PowerPoint as well to everyone that's in here. So
Y ahora el otro building, no. Son
okay. And so we also want to talk about, as Andrew said, updating your certifications. You can use the hub logo, and like he said, that is a great way of showing us that you are hub certified. We do review and make sure your certifications are up to date on this. So please make sure. Do we have any questions before we get into some of our bid opportunities that's coming up? May have talked a little fast in the beginning. Is there any questions in the chat about proposals? I wanted to stop as well.
No questions in the chat at the moment, Shante.
Perfect. Thank you. I can't see the chat while I'm sharing this. All right. So right now we are in our pre-qualification stage for Wake Tech Fire and Rescue Training. This pre-qualification is going to be over January the 31st. That's the due date on our pre-qualification. So if you aren't pre-qualified with Samet, please go ahead and log in to our pre-qualification and get that taken care of. If you need help, please call me. We'll help you get through with that. Sometimes because if you are just going through your pre-qualification A, which is our yearly, it may take a couple of weeks, okay? And so I know it's during Christmas time, people are going on vacations. And so we really want you guys to get this done before the new year. So you won't have a lot of work starting in January, okay? So this is expected to start spring 2025. The expected finish date is 2026. HH Architect is our architect for this project here. This project is in Wendell, North Carolina. And I think this is going to be a fun project to see being built. They're going to be burning fire in there, and it's going to be just a cool burn building for our fire department in Wake Tech. Andrew, do you want to cover anything in these opportunities right here?
No, just we're really excited to work with Wake Tech out at their East Wake site on this job. This one is, I missed at the start what type of businesses we have, but this one is really good for our site work contractors, our landscaping and irrigation contractors. Actually, there's no irrigation, it's naturally irrigated, but landscapers and hardscapes. And then the two towers are, as Shantae mentioned, cast in place concrete and block. So these are kind of utilitarian builds as far as the buildings go. There's not a lot of work here for the MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing trades, just as a factor of what is happening in the building. So they're going to be setting fires in the towers. So it doesn't make sense to have a lot of nice finishes or MEPs. So.
Okay. Our next project is Wake County Western Regional Center. So we sent out 2 pre-qualifications at the same time a couple of weeks ago, so you would not get confused. So Wake County Western Regional Center and Wake Tech is 2 different things, okay, guys? This Wake County Western Regional Center is expected to start in spring 2025, and the finish date on that should be in summer 26. This is going to be in Cary, North Carolina. It's a new construction, 2 stories.
Yeah, this one has all the trades. So this one is a nice kind of small to medium sized project at 15,000 square foot footprint over 2 stories to make up the 30,000 square feet. So this is one that's a really good opportunity for all of our small and local business partners. Because it's got all of the trades from division 1 through 33. So whereas the Wake Tech project is more of a site work and structure, this one has all of the nice finishes in it. It has a lot of glass on the outside. It's got photovoltaic panels on the roof for sustainability. It's really got everything out there, and this is out near the Dorcas Ministries. So this will actually. Is this one near the Dorcas Ministries, or is that might be Durham? No, that's this one. Yeah, so this one is in a fairly active area. So we'll be working with the team that becomes our trade partners heavily on logistics and phasing because we don't want to interrupt, obviously, our local business partners in that area. We want to make sure everything goes off without a hitch and really in a safe, quality manner. So exciting project with Wake County. We're also they've really appreciated what we've been doing for them in design and pre-construction, working with their design team at Little Architecture. If anyone's worked with Little before, a really good design team out of downtown Durham. And they're looking to partner with us on some future Wake County projects as well. So looking forward to more work with Wake County in the near future.
Thank you, Andrew. So these 2 are on Building Connected right now for pre-qualification. So please, if you have any questions about that, log in, call me, email me, and we can discuss this. All right. So our next location is Durham Tech. Our next project is Durham Tech. However, it is in Orange County. So it's like halfway between our Greensboro office and our Raleigh office. This is expected to start summer 2025 as well. And the finish date is going to be 2026 on this. We are looking for a lot of minority because our participation goal is pretty high on this project. So we are looking for a lot of minority trade partners for this project. The pre-qualification is probably going to start mid-February, early March, I would say, on this. So you should be looking out the first quarter for the pre-qualification to come out on Building Connected for this opportunity.
Yeah, I've been going to kind of the design. We're currently in the design development or DD stage of design on this project, and the client is getting really excited. They need this space very badly, so it's a interesting project because it's an addition to existing, as it says here. And so with that, again, just like the previous project with Wake County, that requires a lot of logistical planning. We're going to have to make sure that we make the existing facility safe for the existing end users to continue using, or give them space if we need to renovate certain areas within the existing building as well. The addition is just part of the project. We are going to be sprucing up the existing facility as well, the lobby and the library that they have, the small library that they have in the space, as well as giving them something I think is really cool, skilled trades, a skilled trades, tech room, which is an awesome thing to do. Not everybody goes to four-year college. I've talked with our team here about, electricians and plumbers and mechanical technicians can make a really good career for themselves and start businesses. So we're really in the business of helping advance the technological education of folks that are in the trades. So we're working with Wake Tech on that in certain areas, and now this is another example at Durham Tech of a campus that's going to allow for that over in Orange County.
Cool. And our next location is Durham Fire and EMS Station 19. This is going to be off of Davis Drive. The expected start date is spring 2025, and we are finishing up, should be 2026. We are working closely with the Durham Fire Department and EMS, and this is in the intersection of Highway 54 and Davis Drive. So it's really, I would say, we say RTP area, right?
Near our hosts, right? Near our hosts, sound like the same area there somewhere.
And so again, our pre-qualification process probably is going to start around late part of the quarter one for this, or hitting the summer.
Yeah, this one, I don't know, it may slip actually, Shantae. This one we're
okay.
still in concept. The cool thing, I mean, it's sad news that it's slipping, but the good news about it is it's slipping because the project is hopefully doubling in size. I know that this area is developing so that there are needs. Since this is a combination of fire and EMS, they really wanted to go for some additional funding, which we're helping them with some conceptual estimates on a larger facility. So that's exciting for that area. And again, just like the other projects, we're really eager to push this one along with our design and client partners. This will be in conjunction or in tandem, city and Durham County. So both entities from Durham will be working and using this facility at the end of the day. So that one, if I had to guess on an updated schedule, probably won't be, the folks on this call probably won't hear about it till closer to this time next year, if I had to guess. But it's still a great opportunity to track with us, and we'll keep you all updated. If anything, we'd love it to go faster, but with that doubling in size and the required, going for funding first before we get too far into the design, it might take a little bit longer than expected.
Sounds good. Construction is like that sometimes, right, guys?
That's right.
Yeah, so this is one of our private projects. And so our RXR Viridian Block A apartment, multifamily, and this near, this intersection is near 55 and Highway 1 in Apex. We are starting this in the fall 2025. The project size is around say 700,000, right? Close to it, square feet.
Yeah, so this one is there's a lot over on this project. RXR is the developer and Viridia is the name of the neighborhood. It's going to be highly phased out,
Yes.
like these new neighborhoods are. So the first wave has actually changed a couple of different times. But within the Viridia neighborhood, it's going to be like a brand new town within Apex, essentially. Wake Tech is looking to put a satellite campus there. All those entities very similar to them are looking to expand in that area. So basically anything that you can think about that you need to make a fun and attractive neighborhood is going to be there. The way
Restaurants
that
and
be,
retail.
what's
Mhm.
that? Yeah, exactly.
Restaurants
Yeah.
and retail, right?
Shops and restaurants and bars and everything else that goes
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, sports fields, etc. So what we're doing right now is the infrastructure work. So we're actually working on dialing in the partner for the heavy site work. That'll be starting here shortly. And my team here in the pre-con group is working on the schematic. This one is at SD for the first multifamily portion. We're calling that's being called Block A. So that's kind of our phase one of the vertical construction, and that'll involve 277 multifamily units on let's see how many acres. I think it's on 15 acres. Anyways, I'm looking at that tomorrow, so uh, I've got to brush off the dust on my KPIs here. But anyways, it'll probably be a nice project for those of you that are involved in the multifamily or residential sectors. So I know we probably have a mix of folks that work on commercial versus residential and some that work on both. So good opportunity there for those that are working on multifamily. And then once we build the multifamily, all of those other elements of the neighborhood will follow suit with like Shante said, retail and mixed use restaurants, et cetera.
Sounds good. All right. And so MAARTP Nixie, Block H1 Apartments. This is really close to the MBDA Center in RTP, kind of in the same vicinity. This is a private job as well. So your proposals will be emailed instead of on Building Connected. I just want to point that out to you. Private jobs are you will be emailing proposals. Do we have any you want to talk about this a little more?
Yeah, so on this project, if anybody's been over to this job site or this little basically this little neighborhood at MAA RTP Nixie, Samet as well as several other contractors are working over there, and several of the buildings are already topped out and almost substantially complete. Our team is starting to open, apartments in waves or phases. So we're working hard over there. There's a Wells Fargo bank over there, and the block H1 of apartments will be the next set, and that'll be right next to just west of the Wells Fargo, and it'll be all multifamily. And we're at DD stage reviewing that with the client this Wednesday for basically constructability and cost control input for them, so that they can take the next steps with their designers and produce this construction documents to go to permit. So we'd like to probably get out to bid with this project in the spring. Don't have a hard date on it yet, but I'm sure we're going to want to start that project in the summer. So another near-term opportunity in the RTP area.
A lot coming to the RTP area right now. All right, so in Chapel Hill, our expected start date for Woodfield Properties, the Park Phase 2 apartments, we are expected to start that February 2025. And we're just finishing up on the phase 1 of the park. Well, we don't call it the park one, I don't, but the park. Yeah.
Yeah, the park phase 1 is open, and this one has been kind of just waiting for the right market conditions. The design that Shante is showing up on the presentation has been complete for really about a year now. We did price it out on the market, I think in maybe this time last year or maybe February, but regardless, numbers weren't penciling for the developer. Everybody knows in the residential market that the developer's pro forma doesn't work with, what they're going to get from rents versus, what the payback from the loans for construction, then, they're not going to go forward with the project. So with the interest rates recently coming down, a few basis points and, hopefully that continuing to happen as well as other, financial improvements in some of the markets. We're going to hear a lot more about private developments like this moving forward. And in fact, I would venture to guess that most of these developers will be in a race to secure the best and brightest teams of construction managers like ourselves, and then trade partners working with us, like all of yourselves, to build these projects and get to market with some speed so that they can, get the next wave of renters in our area as our area continues to grow. So that's why you see a lot of multifamily on this presentation today. As well as commercial, though. It's a pretty good mix right now.
Yeah, we did have a half today. All right. So we are finishing up on our part of our presentation, but we are open for questions. If you have specific questions or about a project or specific questions about the proposal section.
We had one in the chat that I'd just
Okay.
like to hit. Matthew, I'm not sure who Matthew is from, if he's willing to come off a speaker. Oh, there you go. Matthew, nice to meet you virtually. What company are you with, Matthew? And then Matthew's question is that he's completed the annual pre-qual process. Just wanted to see how he can start receiving invitations. So Matt, tell us about who you're with and what type of work you do.
Yeah, we are Sun, South Carolina. So we're a outdoor living company, residentially, commercially. We do structural, site concrete, amenities, synthetic turf, structures such as pergolas, swimming pools, pool ducts. Hardscapes is our main specialty. So we've actually done a couple of projects with Samet a couple of years ago in the
Great.
Charlotte area, Ray
Okay.
Farms and Limio Apartments. So I know that right now for this year we've completed the pre-qualifications. However, I am part of Building Connected. We have not received any type of invitations or anything like that.
Yeah, let me check for you. We'll use this as an example, but for the rest of the group, for everybody, the general direction I would give to Matt and really everybody is just because you get pre-qualified or just because you went to the pre-qualification site and filled out a form doesn't mean that you're automatically going to start receiving invites. It would be nice if that happened, but the next step is really doing what Matthew's doing right here. And I've actually had two others earlier today do that directly with me. So I think actually Shante had an interesting quote up from Johnny Seegers, like, these things are not going to happen unless you call us, right? Because just filling out a pre-qual, I want to venture to guess there's 20 to maybe up to 100 per week that we're getting that are new people that have taken the step to pre-qual. The real relationship building is doing what Matthew's doing and being, having enough guts to speak up and say, hey, what's next? How do I start getting invitations specific to what I'm good at? So what we would advise doing is pretty much what Matthew's doing. Just reach out to Shante or myself and make sure we know who you are, because yes, although we can see in our system who's getting pre-qual, I don't then go and just blanket bring everybody that's new. I want to see who's really hungry for the work and interested in getting the work. We have usually 1 to 2 new contractors into our office on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
We also often have folks that we already know come by and say hello. Now, I'm not asking you to pester us too much. We do have day jobs to attend to, but we are open to that type of interaction. And we would highly recommend at least coming in with your current team or kind of key people from your estimating and pre-con team and maybe a key operational team member at least once a year, just to, get connected with us, make sure that you're rubbing shoulders with us, making sure we have the right information. Sorry, somebody is, they're blowing leaves outside. If it's hard to hear me, I apologize. So anyways, to answer Matthew's specific question, what I would say is, Matt, just give us a call tomorrow. We'll make sure you get our names and phone numbers. But the other thing I would say about this is understand that Samet is a big corporation, right? We're not as big as some of the bigger monsters. I used to work for a really big monster that had 55 offices. Samet has 6 offices though.
Mhm.
We've got enough to keep us busy right here in the triangle. So that's what Shantae and I are tasked with. So once you make contact with me, what I'm going to do is ask you where you work, right? And that pre-qualification can
What
help us with
location?
that.
Right.
But I want to know, do you want to work in Charlotte? Do you want to work in Greensboro? Do you want to work in Triangle area here? Do you want to work in Wilmington? Do you want to work in Charleston? Those are our locations. Savannah. Do you want to work in all of those? Do you want to work, we want to understand where you want to work because I can connect you with my counterpart and Shantae can connect you with her counterpart in those areas. The only thing we can help you do is get pre-qualified with us on our local bidders list, which we maintain for the triangle. As we all know in construction, there are certain trades that travel quite a bit, and those would be the MEPs travel quite a bit, the structural trades, concrete, structural concrete, precasters, they travel. They're bigger, they have, manufacturing facilities, et cetera. For the smaller contractors, which could be MWBEs, hub certified firms in any of those trades, as well as most finished trades are local to their area. Most division 9 through 12 are just local to their area. Drywall is local to the area. So what we don't want to do at Samet, just to let you under the hood a little bit, is make one bidders list for all of Samet. We
Right.
have to, as local businesses that are basically maintained, like I'm talking from the Triangle area, I have to have a bidders list that's going to make me successful in my area. So I'll have a lot of folks that have overlap with my list in Charlotte for the traveling firms. Whereas if you look at our finishes over here in Raleigh, even if it's multifamily bidders list for finishes, it's going to be very different than Charlotte and certainly different than Savannah, Georgia. Does that make sense to everybody?
Absolutely.
So step one, again, just to kind of circle back and bring it home, is step one is to get pre-qualified. If you call me and do put the cart before the horse, and you call me and just say, hey, I really just want to start getting bid opportunities. I'm going to say, just like I said in my example proposals, show me that you want to get bid invites, right? Do the easy thing first, which Matthew and his team have done, which is do the pre-qualification. So now when Matthew calls me tomorrow, I'm going to be able to go into TradeTap, which is connected to Building Connected. Both of those are owned by Autodesk, by the way. And Shantae's right. Everybody, we really got to use those because they are kind of like the Facebook of our industry. Quickly type in Matthew's company name, see what he's pre-qualified to do, and make sure I get him on the right list in my area. Then what I can do is, if he tells me he wants to work in Charlotte as well, I'm going to connect him to Brian Schaefer. If he wants to work in Greensboro, I'm going to connect him to Bill Wooten. If he wants to work in Wilmington, I'm going to connect him with Jason Lovelace. So that's what we can do, but that's the interaction that you need to have as a business. Just like we're giving you coaching on how to do a proposal, right now, this is probably just as important as the interaction. Don't be a robot and don't be unseen, right? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So again, don't be too squeaky because we won't like that either, but be personable and be accountable for the business that you want to get, right? You're only going to get the business that you drive to get. So Matthew, thank you for being vulnerable and saying, hey, I haven't been getting any, invites. What do I need to do? So hopefully that helped you out with what you need to do. And what I'll do is I'll put my name and contact information in the chat as well. So that if you're having similar challenge to Matthew, you can just give me a buzz.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
But I will definitely make sure you are on that, Matthew. So just
Perfect.
contact me. Any more?
I actually do have another question for you. Kind of like this coaching opportunity that you guys are presenting today for building proposals, the Samet offer, do you guys do further coaching, like for the estimating process to kind of coach and educate as far as mobilizations and general conditions, kind of more into that type of depth for other team members or anything like that?
That's a great question. I personally don't because I'm not in those realms, but we certainly can. I think it's a great suggestion to have, and it's a good plant that in Shantae's brain because she's great at setting these up. And I think that's a fantastic idea to have, some of our project executives come in and give you a similar, in just an hour or an hour and a half, just like this session. I'm sure we love to share what we do, and, sharing is caring, and it makes everybody better. As I said, it helps reduce some of the frustrations I have, right? If all of you go away with one or two things from this session today and your proposals look better, and you call me more with, direct input about what you need, and that just makes everything more efficient for all of us. So I think we can help you with that. I can't answer that, some of those things. I know what general conditions are, and I could put them together, but you really want to get to the expert or the subject matter expert on that, the SME. And those would be our operational leads, our PXs, our senior project managers, et cetera. So maybe for a future Mentoring Monday, we can do that.
Yeah. There was a question about fees for Autodesk. So Autodesk is like the umbrella for Building Connected and Trade Tap. So there's a free and a and a paid one, right?
Yeah, we work for Samet. We pay Autodesk for that stuff.
Right, but there is a free version of Building Connected. If you're using it a lot, and you may want to go ahead and purchase it.
Oh, okay. No, I see where you're going. So I see what the question is. With respect directly to Building Connected, you can, exactly right, Shantae. Each of you individually and your companies should have a profile. That can be free. That's totally free. I'm not sure what the fee structure is for subcontractors or trade partners. It's pretty cheap for construction managers, at least relatively, for the amount of power that we get out of it. We pay a lot more. When I say it's expensive, the expensive part for us is we use Autodesk for quantity takeoff. So that it has Autodesk 2D and 3D. So they have a whole suite of products, just like Microsoft has Word and Excel and PowerPoint and everything else. Autodesk owns Building Connected. They own Trade Tap, which is their pre-qualification module. So I'm sorry, it's not expensive to be a part of Building Connected. And we would say, one point I would have is, I did a similar, answered a similar question to Matthews for a company earlier today, and it's a reputable reputable flooring company out of, I think they're one of the top 10 or 15 based on their website in the country. And even when I went on to Building Connected to help this business development lady out from this big company, they had like 6 different profiles. You got to make one profile that's your profile. Otherwise, think about it from our end. We're just inviting random people, and we're going to press invite to a bunch of people. It's just like putting the right contact information on your proposal. Set up your profile very carefully. Put your logo so people can recognize it, right? Let me show you my screen again, just real briefly. So I'm sharing my screen. I think it takes a second sometimes. Can y'all see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm in, this is our multifamily template. I was just looking for some contractors. So here's a couple of different examples, right? So here's a company that has, their logo. They've got their location. They've got their people listed. Let me go to a couple examples of, not so good or room for improvement, let's say. Okay, so let me see if there's any that are multiples. Nah, I can't find any right now, of course. But anyway, what I saw when I was helping this young lady on the flooring side of things was when I went to search for her company here, I saw like 6 or 7 different of the same exact company name with different, office locations and no logos. So I was just at a loss for who I should invite, right? So what I would say is all of you could, as one takeaway, go and figure out, check out Building Connected and make sure you work with them, right? They're the ones, they have a help desk sort of thing that can help you pare down the information on Building Connected to, just like on Facebook, right? You don't want 8 different people saying they're you out there.
Right,
you want one of you with your verified information. It's just like on LinkedIn, you see the blue check. Why do people have that check? Because they want to make sure if somebody looks it up and, there's 10 or a million Mark Smiths, they want to make sure that people know and get to the right Mark Smith, and there's no funny business type of thing. So take control of your own company and take control of your own profile on something like Building Connected. That's going to help you, again, get more opportunities. And then we talked about proposal today. So you're going to build better proposals, but it starts with getting the opportunities. So I appreciate Matthew's questions, and hopefully we helped with those a little bit.
And I will say on Building Connected, sometimes if people leave your company and you forget, they're still getting those emails that's being flagged, that so nobody's getting the email. So just make sure that if somebody left your company or you changed your emails on there, go back and recheck Building Connected and make sure your contact information is up to date. Right. Do we have any more questions?
I don't see anything else in the chat. Oh,
I do have a
looks
quick
like
question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Andrew and Shante, thank you, by the way. This is some really great information, and we just want to say we really appreciate that. I concur with a lot of the folks in the chat saying that this is really good stuff. So thank you so much. I do want to ask a quick question specific to my business. I'm an equipment provider. I specialize in portable toilets and dumpster service. And just a question that I have regarding commercial projects is that I typically bid out dumpsters on the individual service, like one haul, one, deliveries and stuff like that, priced out on the list. Should I be taking that extra step to try to find a total cost, to try to do like an estimate of how many hauls do I think this commercial project is going to be, and then try to put a total cost there? Or should that not be something I should be looking at for equipment standpoint?
This good question, Larry. And this is just a personal opinion. I think you have to take that contractor by contractor that you're trying to work for. Personally, RPXs would appreciate, that's part of our general requirements. So I generally have our project executive that I work with, that's kind of my operational partner, put together the general requirements that include, temporary toilets, temporary trailers, temporary, waste hauling and recycling, et cetera. Anything that's temporary for a project, they're really in charge of that. I work with them on that. What I've seen RPXs do is we're fine with those unit price or menu option proposals that you're talking about, but we would like you to show us, like, hey, interact with us. What do you think it's going to be? If it's, I understand that if it's a medical, like a healthcare project, there's going to be way more pulls than if it's like a core and shell industrial project, right?
Right.
So if we're going to have a bunch more sheets of drywall being cut and installed, and flooring, specialty flooring and rubber flooring being installed, then we want to see your understanding of the project. A lot of times what we see is, and this can be from very, general requirements trades like yourself, which is important, all the way up to very intricate trades like curtain wall. You wouldn't believe how many people have no idea what's going on inside of the building that they're going to be building. I think that's crazy, right? You should be proud of the types of work that you are working on. You should understand what the client's concerns are. Don't just leave that to us. So to answer your question, Larry, and for everybody else, take some pride in really getting to know those documents, right? Yeah, it's a different level of review if you're putting together a dumpster proposal versus a interior finish proposal or a medical gas proposal, but you should still have some inkling of understanding of what you're looking to build, where it is, who the client is, the who, what, when, where, why, because that's going to better inform your proposal and your thinking. And if you can show that to us, again, we want to go to work with folks that really care and take pride in their work. So the more you know about the project, it certainly couldn't hurt. And if you want to work with the PX on suggested total, that would be a great thing in my mind, but it's not a must.
Understood. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
So we have one more question from Angela. It says, where can we go for help reading plans / writing estimates?
Oh, that's a tough one. So that comes over years, and that's a personal, I mean, for me, again, personal opinion, again, not a really part of the session here, is To me, it's a must to be in the industry is to know how to read plans. I mean, I hate to be a little bit direct there, but if you don't know how to read plans, I'm not sure it's the right industry, or you need to go to, there's a number of schools, right? Wake Tech, Durham Tech. We talked about two great ones
NC
that,
State has a great one. Yeah.
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
But I mean, in short order, or, crowdsourcing, right? Hiring somebody, right? If you don't know, if you either are involved in a business, you need somebody that can read plans. So, yeah, I'm a pretty direct person, as Shantae knows. So I would say, if you're in our industry, you got to learn how to read plans. That's not something that Samet really offers, right? We do help our internal employees, but really it's in before, it's a prerequisite to working in the industry, in my opinion, is to learn how to read plans and specs.
All right, I don't see any other questions in the chat.
All right. Guys, thank you for all of your questions today. They were really great questions. I'm pretty sure that your questions that you asked someone else needed those questions as well. We're glad that you are here with us today, and thank you.